Okay, the old standard 30 by 20 or 20 by 30, however you want to call it. Building with an 8 and 12 roof, 16-inch overhang. So the tails are 14 and a half plus inch and a half subfascia. So I did this in Chief, and I haven't done this for a while in Chief. It's all single line now. Somehow either I've changed a setting or this is something new. I don't know. Looks cool, but it's what I'm looking for is accurate dimensions. So I don't even know where the ridge went. It used to be Chief would draw all these things out at their nominal size. And I'm probably sure that somebody was helping me out. And let's see. Nope. Anyways, this is not how I like to have this. A couple things are wrong here right off the bat. Looks like this layout's all good, and then close layout, that's correct. But then this center line would be a main common. It'd be the same length as these others. And then from here, you would go out 16, 32, 48, 64. You wouldn't have this close layout here. I see what the software did. They wanted everybody to continue on 16-inch center all the way down so that your plywood works out just fine. And that works, but now you've thrown in extra over here, and it's kind of a dealer's choice. But what if these ridges were LVL? Because I noticed the only thing I can turn on is ridge. Let me get there. Where was I at? Yeah, let me just grab all these really quick, and we'll just open them up. Because I remember this before. I'm looking for the hips, and the hips don't show up. They're considered a ridge. And that throws me for a loop too, because if my ridge, these are 2x6 rafters, my ridge would be a 2x8. But if we thought maybe we needed stronger hips, you could go with a 2x10 or an LVL, which is not only taller but wider. And then you have to account for that. This is the only part of Chief that every time I can make it not be accurate just by letting it do its thing. But it's okay because they're in good company with Construction Master and Build Calc and all them other ones. But let's open up these guys. So I think this all got started because I like SketchUp for certain things, and I love Chief for other things. And they're not mutually exclusive. This is exact how you would build something. And SketchUp gets all of it. There's your backing bevel on your hip, or backing angle, whichever you prefer. This is how the main comment and the end comment and the next main comment, they all come together on the ridge. Chief would stop their ridge halfway here. And I can tell you why. Most people that calculate roof, like Construction Master and everybody, they use a centerline string single plane place to do their measuring. And then you're smart enough to go, well, I need the run, so I'll take off half the ridge. And now you've just moved this string over to the edge so that you can calculate the rafters correctly. And once you're there, you can also do the hip length correctly. But the jacks don't measure from this center line. The jacks measure in the direction of the common down the slope of the roof out to the edge of the hip. So the closest I got, Renee was helping me a while ago, several months ago, and I was having a problem because it would dimension the center line of the jack to the center line of the hip, and then it would also measure out to over the finished fascia. So like this jack would be this much too long here, plus it would measure the entire board out to whatever your fascia. If it's 3/4 fascia, you're out there. And that's not how that works. So maybe they do things different now, but here's what we always did. That was your heel height right there, that vertical line. And for a 2x6, pretty commonly we would do 4 3/8, and a 2x8 we would do 6 3/8. And it wasn't until I was looking at the D4 and all the bird's mouth regs in the IRC that I was able to figure out that that actually changes depending on how accurate you want to be. We use 2x6 walls. For some reason, some people think that the seat cut has to be exactly the width of the wall, and if it's a 2x4, you're usually pretty close. But anytime that you have an unsupported short point right here, you're no longer the depth of a 2x6 or 2x8 or whatever it is, whatever this board is. If you cut enough seat out that it sticks into the room, well, now you're no longer able to use that as the table for that size material. You know what I mean? So your load changes. So anyways, let's get back at it. Let's do it from this side because I need the long point. So this is the heel height. This is the seat cut. This is the plumb cut. And how I've always done it for many, many decades, well, not many decades, a couple decades, is long point here, along the top to here. So that one is 311.5, and that would be along the top of the board. And I would call these left jacks because they're on the left-hand side of the hip. And that would, in my head, I'd be able to know which way I got to cut that bevel. And this is a standard 8 and 12 all the way around. So there's a 45-degree bevel. And the cut line here is the roof pitch, which is 8 and 12. And we would make a tail pattern. So let me show you what that looks like. Man, all of a sudden, it just feels late. So you see this line right here? I would figure out what the tail was going to be. So 14.5-inch horizontal. And then I would get from this line there we go. I would figure out what that length is there, cut this. Then you have to make sure that you figure out this is where the soffit was going to be nailed to. And so you always want to cut your tails just a little bit less, because even though this is like less than 2 feet, you get some crowned boards and they'll crown down and stick below where your soffit goes. And so rather than running back around with a saw and trimming them, you just cut them a little shy. And then we would also do blocking across to the wall. You don't see the wall here because I haven't built it, but there'd be blocking across every so often. This is all old school. I'm sure they do things a lot different now. Oh man, but there's a place for SketchUp. This took a lot longer because each one of these boards, well, you draw each one unique thing once, and then if you look around, I've got these faces just randomly out here, but they're not really random. That's in the center there, and there's a tool called flip. And then I do flip option so that it not only will it flip the thing, but it duplicates it. It's sort of like the move with the plus symbol or the Q with the plus. It's the flip with the plus. And then all I did was I did one set of jacks and then flipped them to the other side. Then I grabbed this whole set of jacks and I flipped it to this side. This one hip I painted with like a, let's see, what do you call that? Transparency, like 50%, so you could see through it. And this is how I would build this roof. When I come back to Chief, let's just see if we can dimension this and get somewhere close. Well, first I'm going to tell you right now, none of this is going to be right because, well, maybe this down here. Let's just see. But these should all be opposite of each other. So let's just see if I can get a dimension from here to here. Well, see, I don't know where I'm supposed to land. I don't know that there's no hip here. Because when we go look, why didn't it generate a hip? I don't use Chief to do framing because of this, because I haven't, yeah, it's a pretty picture and everything. The bird's mouth's really wrong there. I guess the 4 3/8, I told it took it out of there, out of the part you're cutting out instead of coming down from the top. So maybe they should redo that as height above plate. I don't know. Let's look at the details again here. Where's that? This one. Boom. Options, general. Yeah, rafters. So I don't get why it didn't. I guess I have to build framing again. Let's do that. It's probably what happened. I did this and then I didn't tell it to build framing. Build framing of the roofs. Well, it did something. Now let's go see. Yeah, stalling out here. Okay, yay. So the problem I have here is how do I tell it that oh, see, they're still wrong right there. Owie, owie, owie. Poor guys. They mean well. How do I tell the software that the ridge is one depth, 7 and whatever, and the hips are a completely different depth and different thickness? And I don't know if you can see this, but I have a spinning beach ball right now. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording because Chief is locked up. So that's great. All right, I will upload this and talk to y'all later.